All right, do a quick rundown of my Kayak Livewell here. Now, I use these for redfish tournaments, and it's been good for trout, redfish. I can see it used for bass as well. It's just a Plano box, and what I've done is I've cut the lid, and I've installed zip tie hinges, if you would, and then sealed the front. Back clip is on, drilled for O2 line. And if you come up here to the front, I've also installed a 1060 box and 2 switches, and I'll show you why in a second. So on the live well, flip it open. We've got the divider, holds the 2 redfish upright. I like putting them nose in this way because they can't swim out. You can see I have aerator and a fill pump. So I'm going to show you on the Kraken what that is for, and then I'll show you on the U-Pick how I use this with just the oxygen bottle, and then I'll give you a demonstration on my CUDA of how it actually works sitting out on the patio. So let's talk about power for a second. Ignore my dog, he's whining at squirrels. So this is a $26 lithium 12 volt output power pack. And I have run this pump for 3.5 hours, and I've been using this for multiple tournaments, and that filling live wells with the bait pump works fantastic. For 26 bucks, 12 volt output is on Amazon. You can get 2 of these, keep one of them in there, and then put the other one in the box. So this wires into the box, and I have my feed out for the bait pump, and that bait pump comes up here to the nozzle, over here to the filler, and you'll see I've got a speed, sorry, need to switch hands here, just got a knot with 2 overhands hinges on it, and that pops out, and then quick release. It's actually a garden hose quick release system for the pump. Here's the power for it, and then I ran power up and in here. And what I've got to do is open this puppy up, plug in the 12 volt power, close her all up, and she's ready to rock. So that's the Plano live well. Fits in the tank well of the U-Pick, the Kraken, the CUDA, and that's a little trick from the past. The Kraken has a bait well scupper underneath the seat because it was made as an offshore boat. So if you wanted to bait in a bait well, you could run that pump and draw clean water, recycle water, and do whatever you needed to do, fill up your bait well. Inshore, that's fantastic because I don't need to carry around a bucket or a jug or anything else and manually fill it up. The other thing I can do is recycle the water. Open the plug here. It's just a bilge plug. Open the plug there. Run the pump. Let the pump run. It'll recycle the water out. It'll go out into the Kayak live well or a Kayak tank well and then out through your scuppers. So it just sits there and runs. So I'll show you the mounting on all the kayaks now. All right. I love this boat. This is a Jackson Kraken 15.5, and it's rigged with the live well and a torpedo. This thing is quick, over 7 miles an hour with the 403. Adding the live well on, you can't even tell there's weight back there. So I hinted to this in the beginning. That right there is why this live well is set up like this. The Kraken 15.5 was developed as an offshore big water boat, and if you wanted live bait when you're fishing for big fish offshore, you could have a pump here. So this scupper was specifically made for a pump, and you can see how it sits up in there. Normally I have a screen on there instead of a nut, but for demonstration purposes I just use the nut. the screen stops any small, like rocks or shell pieces or anything. That scupper is also on the new 2022 NAR. You'll see a black plate back behind the seat pan there. It covers this scupper and creates a regular scupper. And then if you want to take the plate off, you can mount a bait pump in the hull and do the same thing on the NAR. So you can have live well, you can have bait well. That boat is built for big water offshore too. So here's my control box. You can see my switches are protected on the top and bottom of the rail. There's the quick release. And I just used the factory straps here to hold the back down. I don't use, on this boat, the recirculator a lot. I can fit the D size bottle or the MC size bottle, the smaller bottle of oxygen back here. But a lot of times I just use that backup bubbler, and I'll show that to you in the demonstration, that mounts on that side and just feeds the O2 tubing. So again, this thing fills itself with the pump. It drains and recycles. It has an aerator and a bubbler or oxygen all on one unit on the kayak. Okay, here's a 2022 Jackson Kayak U-Pick that I use with the live well for tournament fishing. So all my stuff's laid out on the deck. You can see where I keep my catch board. It's just where I store it when it's sitting. There's the D-size oxygen bottle. So the oxygen bottle and regulator strapped there, and I keep my Torpedo battery underneath the seat, which is strapped in there as well. You can't see it because it's bracket to bracket. That keeps a lot of the weight center, and when I move forward to offset the water weight in the back, all the weight comes forward with me in the seat, so it's a good counterbalance. The only thing this live well uses is the oxygen. So you can see there's that 7-foot hose. I secure it in with a 4-foot NRS strap over here, and then additional sets of bungees over here to the eyelets where I have the rudder, the Torpedo lift line, and a matching one over there for storage. Live well itself loses the filler tube, but I keep the recycler because it's attached to the battery pack and you can run the recycler. The O2 runs in the thing all day long. That D-size tank will literally run for days on a quarter setting in this live well. So I don't need to bring the bubblers and everything else because I've got a tank that's running for days. And the live well sits here. Works well. Alright, I'm out on the patio. I've already shown you the Kraken 15.5 live well install using the bait well scupper hole. And hint hint, that's making a return on the brand new NAR from Jackson Kayak. So that's going to open up a lot of options for offshore, inshore, whatever you want to do for power fed bait wells or live wells. Stay tuned on that one. So this is my CUDA. Once again, I've already showed you the Kraken and I've already showed you the U-Pick. The U-Pick had just the oxygen on it. And I showed you the manual that I do with the gallon jug. This is the full automatic system, and let me show you how the system actually works. So I've got a lithium 10 amp hour deer feeder battery in here, and I used to carry this around with me everywhere and plug it in a hole and plug things in, but it's just another thing to carry. So here's the live well, the control box and everything. So let's open her up. So we've got the divider, and you can see I've got 7 feet of hose, air hose, 1/4-inch air hose going to a stone for the oxygen tank. Now there's a backup to that, and I don't have it with me, but you'll have to give me a second and I'll go get it. But here's the function test of the fill. So that lithium power bank that I showed you in this box right here, that powers everything. Now I've run this particular aerator for 3.5 hours non-stop on a full charge. So at $26, You could buy 2 of them and run all day if you had to. And they're lightweight and small, compact and carryable. All right, so we're powered up. So let me get you our bait pump in the water here. I'm doing this with my knee. And here we go. See, I'm filling a live well. Live well's full, or for this purpose, it's full. We only put enough water to basically cover eyeballs of the redfish anyway. So really all I do is take this and throw it around here behind me and ignore it and pretend it's there. Throw this little switch right here, and once we prime up, we have the aerator running. So she's up, she's running. That'll run for 3.5 hours. Divider keeps the fish upright. This is an overflow. So if I'm going to change water, what I do is run the bait pump, open this plug, let it fill and drain, and basically change and cycle the water out of the live well. It'll drain out of the scupper holes of the kayak, so you're not really adding any much more weight. You can see when I hold the water anyway. Now I've paddled with it, but mostly I use the battery and the torpedo. You really don't know it's full of water in the back until you make an abrupt turn, stop, or really take off fast. She works like a champ. A little bit of G-juice, oxygen, and a bubbler. As a backup, I always carry a bubbler too. You know, one of these cheap 2D size battery bubbler, bait bubblers from Academy or any sporting goods stores that sell them out there for the bait buckets or whatever. Having a bubbler running is quiet, and that thing will run literally all day long. And I have it. Just another zip tie there with this hanging right there. Easy access. Tubing in. We got bubbles going on in the live well.